special guest is Nkem Denchukwu. Nkem Denchukwu is the producer of Pound of Flesh. She is a writer. She is a great speaker. Of course, she is one of those African daughters we can always count on. And of course, Pound of Flesh was premiered last Saturday in Houston, Texas. And the producer is right here on African Cocktail to tell us about this great event which happened out there in Texas. Like I said, Nkem Denchukwu is a writer par excellence. She is a film producer. Nkem Denchukwu, once again, welcome to African Cocktail.
Thanks, Ernest. Good morning.
Nkem, it's been a while since we had you on this show. So, how has it been since then?
I've been busy working.
I know. Always busy.
Well, busy is good. Being busy is a good thing. Stay away from trouble.
Right. So, how is your part of Texas this morning?
It's hot. Very hot and humid.
I know. Wow.
Yes.
In any case, I hope you're taking all the necessary measures to have it cool.
Yeah, just staying hydrated. That's number one.
Okay.
I hope it's not too hot where you are.
Not quite hot, at least for now. But I hear temperatures will get up to 90 in the course of the day. But we'll take care of that.
Okay.
We'll take care of that. Okay, and Nkem, you had the premiere of Pound of Flesh this past Saturday in Houston. First, how did the event go?
Well, I must say that it went great. Looking at the large crowd and listening to people's comments and excitement, I must say that it went very well.
So, would you say you are satisfied, generally speaking?
I'm sorry?
So, would you say you are satisfied, generally speaking?
Absolutely. Very satisfied and very thankful.
Right. So, is Pound of Flesh a story that is drawn from a book or is written as a movie script?
No, it wasn't drawn from a book. Don witnessed an accident 26 years ago in Houston, so he was inspired to write the screenplay from the experience, from watching the 14-year-old girl born to death. So he was inspired, I think 10 years later, to do it as from that accident.
So, is there any particular reason why he decided to translate this incident he witnessed into a movie? What is the message he wants to drive across?
Well, I mean, listening to him, he said that after watching this little girl, this 14-year-old Asian girl, burned to death, he asked himself one question: if he was in the position of this little girl's father, what would he do? Would he let his own daughter burn to death? What would he do? So he said that question pricked him for a long time, and he decided to write a screenplay based on that experience. Of course, being a creative writer, he of course twisted a whole lot of stuff in the story. So I'm not sure what I can't speak for him, but having watched the movie, being the producer, I can say that the message there, you will have to watch the movie to understand anyway, but if you read the synopsis, you also understand. But the message should be that, first of all, don't be greedy. When you're greedy, then of course you have to pay the price. Then, you have to be satisfied with what you have and not be... You can be greedy if you choose to be, but don't be greedy and try to delve into what someone else has. Definitely there will be a price for that. So that's one of the messages that I can say that I pulled from this story.
From every indication, A Pound of Flesh was a very huge assignment, and when you said at the start of this interview that you've been busy all this while, I understand. So how long did it take you to complete this production?
Honestly, I think I can tell you that it wasn't less than 13 months. It took me maybe 8 to 9 months for the pre-production. Pre-production takes a lot of time, and so about 15 months practically. So, I mean, the movie was premiered last week, but I wouldn't say that we're done. The post is done, but of course, now the real work begins with trying to find distribution for the film.
And is Pound of Flesh shot for home consumption or for the widescreen?
Actually, both.
That's interesting.
Both.
Right. So, from what we observed, this movie was very rich in sets and props, and I would imagine so much was invested in its production.
Absolutely. I mean, in terms of is everything. I mean, I'm new as a producer. This is my third film. First year was 2012. When you have to have the right theme. First of all, you have to have the right story, and you have to have a creative director, and of course, you have to have a producer who is also creative and who can micromanage. And of course, I guess that's me. Then, when you have this put together, then it wouldn't be so difficult for you to have the right team in terms of having the right studio and having the right cast for film. So for Pound of Flesh, the location is everything. I found incredible locations, and of course I had to get involved, like Fort Bend Symphony Orchestra in Houston. You can't get a body like that cheap, but they love the art of filmmaking, so they came on board to support us. That's a 50-piece orchestra. For you to have a body like that, make sure you have at least $60,000. But they come on board to support us, and of course, somebody like an Emmy Award winner, Fox 26 News anchorwoman, Melissa Wilson, came on board. So to get people like that, then the police department, the fire department, to do all that work, you have to definitely put work into it. But of course, you have to have the right cast to bring the story to life. And in terms of props, a friend of mine who is a medical doctor, we used his Phantom, and another guy, we used his Porsche. So all these props that we used, being independent filmmakers, there's no way we could have been able to afford stuff like that. But, having people like that on our side, of course, we had to make sure we bring the story to life exactly the writer imagined it to be. So.
Okay, I must say that Nkem Denchukwu is a great writer. She's been praised for her brilliance. And of course, she's the producer of Page 36 and Gem of the Rain Forest. Now, Nkem, film critics and observers will definitely be keen on a fire explosion scene, which I understand is found in this movie. A friend told me the other day that by the scene alone, he was convinced it was going to be a serious movie. So how successful were you in shooting this scene? Could you just tell us more about it?
That should be the accident scene. The accident scene actually, that's one of the biggest scenes in the film in terms of cost and in terms of the people that we needed, including the extras in the film. Of course, that's the part where we needed the fire department, and we used the city of Philly, maybe like 45 minutes to an hour away from Houston. So we used the city of Philly fire department. So they came on board for that. Then of course we had to blow up a BMW, and we used an incredible pyrotechnician. His name is Jackson Burns, Action Jackson. That's his nickname, Action Jackson. So of course, to bring this particular scene the way the writer wrote it, we had to use all those things. I mean, we couldn't have done it by digitally inserting fire to be on the car. We needed to make it be as real as possible by actually setting this BMW on fire. So of course the little girl, the lead child actor, Alexis Anderson, she's 12. She before she was put into this car, of course a fire was lit around it. Of course, fire department, they had to make sure that the pyrotech set everything right. Safety measures. So I mean, a lot of things have to be done right to make sure the little girl was okay, to make sure that every other person on set, will be safe. So in terms when this car is actually lit.
Right.
But when the explosion and the fire actually came on, that was actually when I was part of my work. It was incredible.
Right. Well, I must say that this scene is not very common in most African movies. So I would also assume, Kem, that technically speaking, you would give Pound of Flesh a very high score.
Well, I don't want to be partial. I'm not. I'm not, yes. So, but yes, technically, the technical quality of this film. I mean, not the only person. I think I can. The many people that attended the premiere, we had about 599 plus guests that came to this premiere last Saturday, and Houston actually they want us to have a second release of this second showing of Pound of Flesh. So we're looking into that maybe October something. But we used OC Films, a studio here in Houston, and of course we used an incredible sound editor, Kyle Evans. He's also a sound engineer in Austin. So when you put all these things together, of course, you know, one thing that I know that when it comes to African filmmaking, not necessarily Nollywood, one of the things that I've noticed they lack during production is most of them do not have a sound mixer on the set. So of course, when you watch all these movies afterwards, you see a whole lot of errors. And it doesn't mean that Pound of Flesh doesn't have an error. It doesn't mean that everybody that came to the premiere would say, "Oh wow, this is this." But technically speaking, yes, from what we've heard and what I've seen, and having been on set, yes, I will give it if it's a 5-star. Yes, I will give it a 4.9.
Nkem, all this sweet talk about Pound of Flesh has definitely been watering mouths. So people would love to watch it. Where do we get copies of this movie?
That's actually the phase where we are right now. We are definitely working to see how the buzz is still out there. A lot of people want us to come to other cities for premiere, but the way it's looking right now, I'm not certain. I cannot guarantee that we can do premieres in other cities. Number one, it's not cost effective to do premieres in other cities, So we are definitely working towards how we are going to get this film out there. I mean, people in other parts of the world, people in Europe, they've been emailing me, how do we get to see this, where they are and all that. So the best thing would be to do online streaming and have it, DVDs and Blu-rays, and maybe cable networks, hopefully airlines too. So they basically keep following us. Excuse me, on Facebook. On our website is supposed to be up hopefully this week. It's Street Corner Films with an S, streetcornerfilms.us. There they can get information, or they can get on Facebook, and that will be go to Facebook, Pound of Flesh 2014, because they have another film by Jean-Claude Van Damme coming out in 2015. So ours is 2014. So Pound of Flesh 2014. They can always get information on Facebook, or they can Google it, or they can go to YouTube and they will get more information on that. So definitely everybody will get to watch Pound of Flesh, hopefully before the end of the year.
Nkem, when you do a good job in French, they say motion de soutien. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ernest. Thanks for having me once again.
Yeah, do have a fantastic rest of the day out there in Houston.
Thank you. You too.